In this video, I'm going to show you how you can set the header and footer for your website very easy with Elementor Pro and the Hello theme. I'll show you exactly what you need to do and I'll explain every step in the whole process. This should give you a good understanding of how it works, and it's actually quite simple once you've done it a few times. And in the previous tutorial, I showed you how to set up the header and the footer with the Astro theme, so let's pick up from there. And the first thing we have to do is set the Hello theme as the active theme in the WordPress dashboard. Now go back to the WordPress dashboard by clicking on the cross in the top left of the screen. Now we're going to activate the Hello theme, and I will use this theme as the basic theme for the website in this tutorial. As mentioned before, this theme works perfectly with the Elementor plugin because it's made by the same developers. The activate theme, you can click on the activate button. Now click on customize and go to site identity. Here you can add the logo and the site icon. And because the site icon was already added in the last tutorial, it's already set and we only have to add the site logo again for this theme. To do this, click on select logo, and I select the logo in black and click on it, and then click on the select button. Now select which part of the logo must be visible, and after that click on crop image. And besides that, we don't have to change anything here because we're going to do that with Elementor. After the logo and the site icon has been added, you can click on Publish to save everything. Now click on the cross again and go back to the WordPress dashboard. So now that's done, I'm going to import a beautiful template with the Elementor Pro plugin in a few clicks that you can customize very easily. This works as follows. In the left navigation menu, there's also an option with templates beneath the Elementor option. If you click on it now, you will see that no templates have been created yet. So to create a template, you can click on Add New in the left menu, or you can click the button at the top of the page with Add New. So now you can click on one of these links to continue. Now you see Choose Template Type, and here you can choose what kind of template you want to create. For example, you can choose from a pop-up, a page or a blog post, and you can use templates for all parts of your website. Once you have designed a template, for example, for an individual blog post, then all blog posts will have the same design by default once you create a new one. You can also add specific rules to your template. For example, you can create a template for blog posts from a specific category, and you can create a different design for blog posts from another category. That's something I usually don't do, but it's possible. For now, we choose the option header, and after that you can enter a name for the template such as template header, and then you can click on create template. At blogs you see all kind of templates, and the Pro icon indicates that these are only available with the Elementor Pro version. To view a template, you can click on it, and then you can have a look at how the template is designed, and you can go back to the overview by clicking on back to library. You can import a template by clicking on import. So in this case I choose this template, that's the fourth from the top in the middle, and I click on insert to add it to the canvas. Now you can see that the template has been added, and you can remove it again if you want to by clicking on the cross in the blue tab that becomes visible when you hover over the header. So by clicking on the cross icon you can delete the whole section, and now the canvas is completely empty again. And now I want to show you how you can import a template from the Elementor editor. And you can do this by clicking on the map icon and select a header template. Click insert to import the template. Now the template has been added to the page, and the first thing I want to do is change the background color to white. Make sure you have the section selected and go to the Style tab. Here at Color we see that a dark color is selected. To adjust that, just click on the color and choose another via the color palette. And you can also add a color by using a color code if you have one. This already looks better, and the next thing I want to do is move the logo to the left. And to do this you need to select the logo by clicking on it, and at the first tab, Content, you will see the alignment option and select left over there. To make the logo larger or smaller, you just need to go to the Style tab, and at the top you will see the Width option. By dragging you can make the logo big, bigger, or very small. Or you can select how many pixels the logo should be by entering that in the field. For now I'll set the size to something like 160 pixels. For both sections I set the content width to 1250 pixels to make it a little bit wider. And if you want to, you can easily place a search form widget in the header so that visitors can easily find information on your website. And that is what they also have done here in this template, as you can see. If you want to adjust the color from red to another color, Then again, it's a matter of selecting the widget and going to the Style tab. Then go to the settings for button, and at the background color option you can select a different color. Some widgets will have normal and hover options. The color for the normal status has now been changed to black, and if you go to the hover tab we can choose a different color. So now when a visitor moves the mouse cursor over the widget, it will change to another color. So this way you can add hover effects that you often see with call to action buttons. In this case I choose to remove the widget altogether by right clicking it and then select the delete option. So now we see that only the widget has been removed and the column that you can recognize by the gray lines is still in the section. We can now add another widget to this column. Click on the icon with the 9 dots to go to the overview with all the widgets. Scroll down to general, and somewhere in the middle we see the social icons widget on the left. Now drag the widget into the column to add it. To adjust the alignment you will see the option in the first tab again, and now select the option on the right by clicking on it. And you can completely customize everything as you want for each widget that is available. To add an icon to this widget, for example, you can click on Add Item and then click on Icon Library by hovering over the WordPress logo. All common social icons can be found, and to search quickly you can filter by name in the search bar. For example, you can add Instagram or a WhatsApp icon, whatever you like. By clicking on the icon in the left menu, you can add links so that the icons will link to your social pages. Because this is a tutorial and I don't have any social profiles for this website, I'm not going to add the links, but if you have social media for your website, fill in the links here, and in the case of WhatsApp, a number. To remove a social icon, you just have to click on the cross, like I do with the WhatsApp and the Instagram icons. And if sometimes the adjustment is not immediately visible, you just have to select something else on the canvas and then the widget will update automatically. By default the official colors are selected, but you can also customize this if you'd like. You can do this again by going to the Style tab and then select the option Add Color, and here you can choose a color again, and in this case I choose black. Now I want to make the size of the icons a bit smaller, and you can do that with the size option, and I make it 16 pixels. And this already looks a lot cleaner. On the first content tab you can also change the shape of the icons, and I make them a circle. Below that I set the number of columns to 3 because we have 3 icons. Now I go to the advanced tab, and at margin I click on the link values together icon to disable it, so that I can fill in each field separately, and only in the field right I fill in 40 pixels. So now we're done with the first section, and in the section below we also have the navigation menu. The links that appear in the menu are linked to the menu that we have created earlier in the WordPress dashboard, and if you make adjustments there, it will be automatically updated because those two are linked to each other. The first thing I'm going to do is change the section's color to black. Select the section and go to the Style tab and change the color to black over here. Now I want to change the font to the same one as used in the logo so that it has the same look and feel to it. Click on the blue brush icon from the nav menu widget, or you can use the navigator to select it. Go back to the Style tab and then click on the brush icon at the first option. My family is now default indicated, and if you click on the drop down menu you will see an overview of all available fonts. Now I search for the Play Fair Display via the search bar and I select it. You will see that it has been adjusted in the menu. You can also make the font bold with the weight option. At the size option you can also adjust the size if you want, and I'll make it 15 pixels. In the logo there is more space between the letters, and you can easily adjust this in Elementor at letter spacing. I'll set this to 2.6. If you move the mouse over the menu you will see a red hover effect. We can also adjust this in the Style tab by going to hover. With pointer color you can change red to another color, and I make it white and I set the text color to black. Already looks good, and I want to do one more thing, and that is I want to make the white space above and below the logo a little bit smaller. Therefore I select the section and I set the minimum height to 150 pixels. So now we're finished with customizing the header for desktop screens, and now we're going to see what the header looks like on tablet view by clicking on the responsive mode icon with the 2 screens at the bottom left of your screen. Now you will see a gray bar at the top of the screen appear with 3 options. The first is for mobile view, the second is for tablet view, and the third is for desktop view. You can change the view by selecting one of those 3 icons. It's good to know that if you make adjustments for sections, columns or widgets, this will only be visible on that specific device that you have selected. And the settings that we've done earlier for the desktop view will remain as it is. Now I'm going to show you how it works. And I usually work my way through from the bigger to the smaller screens. So now I'm going to the tablet device by clicking on the tablet icon in the gray bar. And a big advantage of Elementor, and that's something that you can't do with the Azure theme for example, is that you can view the design on all different screen sizes for tablet. At the top right of the bar you see the width and the height. So you can set this here manually if you want, but it can be done much faster and easier by using the icons on the side for this, and with this you can adjust the size by dragging it. For example, we see that the navigation menu is well displayed by making the view completely wide, and on the small tablet size it doesn't look good yet because it's too narrow. You could of course make the distance between the titles of the menu smaller or reduce the font size, but what I often do is I set a toggle button for tablet and mobile devices to keep it more clean. You can do this by selecting the navigation menu, and then at the first tab content you see the options for mobile drop down, and you can adjust the breakpoint to tablet. So now we see the toggle button appear, and if we now move over it you see that the hover color is red, and I want to change that. And the drop down menu looks good, but I also would like to change the green hover color to another color. So let's do this first for the toggle button, and for this I go to the style tab and then go to the options for the toggle button. Click the hover tab and adjust the red color to something less noticeable, like light gray for example. And now I'm going to adjust the green hover color in the drop down menu, and therefore I go back to the style tab and then select the hover tab and change the color from green to black. Everything is looking fine now, so now let's have a look at the mobile view by clicking on the mobile icon in the top gray bar. Now we see that the bottom section with the drop down menu looks good, but the first section isn't quite there yet. The logo is above the social icons, and it would be nicer if they are next to each other. We can adjust this by adjusting the width of the columns. Do this by selecting the first column and adjust the column width to 50. Then do the same for the second column. As you can see, the columns are side by side now, but the icons are still a little bit too big. To adjust that, select the social icons widget and adjust the size to something smaller like 12 pixels. And I also set the margin of the social icons here to 0 by clicking the link values together icon at margin. I also want to make the logo a bit larger on this view, therefore I click on the logo and adjust the size to something around 100 pixels. And then I go over to the content tab and I set the alignment to the left. Now I select the column where the widget is placed in, and I go to the advanced tab and set the padding to 0. After you have finished designing the header template, you can click on the green publish button, and after that click on the option add condition. Make sure the entire site option is selected because I want to use this header for all the pages and posts on the website, but if you want to make a separate header that should only be shown on archive pages or singular pages for example, you can choose one of those options. Personally, I only set one header and one footer for the entire website, so that's the same on all the pages and posts. To create conditions, you can also use the include or exclude options shown here. When you are done, you can click on Save and Close to save the header template. So now that's done, we're going to create a footer for the website. And creating the template for the footer can be done from the WordPress dashboard the same way as we just did for the header template via the template options and then clicking on Add New. But if you already have the Elementor editor open, you can also use the theme builder option that is available from the plugin. To do this, click on the icon at the top left with the 3 lines and then on the second option, which is the theme builder. Here we see an overview of your site's global parts, and there we now also see that the header template has been created. In a separate tutorial I will go deeper into all the possibilities with the Elementor theme builder, but it's actually quite self-explanatory. And from this place you can also create templates for other site parts such as the single post, single page, archive page, search result page and the error 404 page. By going to the footer option and then clicking on Add New, you can immediately create a footer template. Now you see that the blocks are displayed for the category footer. Pick another template that you like, and for this example I use the third from the bottom left and click on it to see what the footer looks like. And if you like what you see, you can click on Insert. Of course you can also choose one of the other templates if you want to do that, or you can import multiple templates and make a combination of them. And now I'm going to adjust the footer a bit so that it's completely the way I want it to be. And to start off I want to change the width from full width to boxed, and then I moved the content width to about 1250 so that it's about as wide as the top menu. Of course, you can decide for yourself how wide you want the sections of your website to be, and if you want the entire width of the screen to be used, you can choose the full width option under the content width. But for now I choose the option boxed with the width at 1250. It still needs to be placed some more to the left, but I will fix that in a minute. And now I'm going to set it the same way like this for the second section as well. I don't do anything with the third section because I'm going to delete it because I think it's unnecessary. And now I'm going to make the background color of the first section black, and that is by selecting the section and going to the style tab. At the background type options I select the first icon, which is a solid color, then I select the color black. And now we see that not the entire section is black, and the reason for this is because the two columns in the section already have been set to a light color. We will first adjust this in the first column by clicking on it and going to the style tab and changing the color to black. So that worked out, but now we don't see the text anymore, so we have to change the color of the text too. Click on the text or use the navigator to select the text widget, and you can edit the text in two ways. The first is by just typing or deleting something in the field on the canvas, and the second way is through the field in the left menu. Or you can delete the text widget and any other widget, column or section by right clicking on it and then clicking on delete, or simply pressing the delete button on your keyboard. This way you can also remove the column where the text widget was in, like this. Now I want the logo that I've made earlier where this image is now being displayed. So I select the widget, in this case it's an image widget, and I go to the choose image option in the left menu. Click on choose image and then go to the upload files tab to drag your image into it, and if you've already done that, then the image will be available in the media library tab. Also fill in something relevant for SEO in the fields that are now empty, such as luxury watch brands logo white. And after you have inserted the image, we can see that it looks way too big. So now let's adjust the size of the logo. I select the image widget, and at the first step you can select a presetting for the image size. Or you can go to the style tab, and as you may have noticed, you have 3 clickable characters above the field. Here I select the PX, that's pixels option, and I set the size to 157 pixels. I drag the text widget from the third column under the image with the logo. And in the content tab I set the alignment to the left. Now that already looks good, but I want the text aligned a little bit better with the logo, and you can easily do this by going to the advanced tab and then over at the padding options. If you now enter a value, you will see that it appears in all the fields, and that is because the icon on the right is enabled. By clicking on it you can disable this, and if you now enter a value only in the field left, the other fields will remain at 0 pixels. For example, you can also add some extra space to the top by entering 5 pixels at top, and if you want to you can also adjust the font, but I think it looks nice this way. I also removed the year number from the all rights reserved part, so this does not have to be updated manually. There are also codes available that will automatically update the year number, so that could be an option if you do want to mention that. If we now go to the advanced tab of the first section, we see that 180 pixels has been added to the top margin, which creates a white space above the section. I think it's better to remove this extra space, and that's why I adjust the top margin to 0. To give an example, if I now enter 20 pixels at the bottom margin, you see that there is a white space between the first and the second section. The 20 pixels I filled in for the bottom margin was just to give an example, so I'll set this back to 0. Now we only need to adjust the right column a bit in terms of styling and the section below it. I'm going to make the background color of the column black, but if I do that now I can't see a number of widgets properly anymore, so that's why I have to adjust them first. I start off with the widget, and the first one, that's the divider, and now I want to change the text color to white, so I select the widget, and on the first tab you can adjust the text if you want to. I leave everything as it is now, and I go to the style tab, and at the first options for divider I set the color to white, and then I expand the options at text. Here you can adjust the color, and I will make it white. I also adjust the font so that it's the same as the text below the logo. That was the Rubik's font with the size of 14 pixels, a weight of 300 and the letter spacing 0.4. Now you can barely see the widget, but that will be alright in a moment, and in the text below I remove weekly from the text and I adjust the color to white again by going to the style tab. I also want to adjust the font to be Play Fair Display by going to the style tab and then go over to typography. I also set the weight to bold and the letter spacing to 2.3. And after that I also change the color of the Find Us Here text to white by going to the style tab and then selecting the white color. I also make the size of the text a bit smaller so that it's the same as the other text in the footer. So now I go to the Style tab again and click on Typography, and I adjust the size to 14 pixels. I also want to change the color of the column to black, so I select the column, go to the Style tab and choose the color you want, and in this case it's black. And now we just need a few minor tweaks before the footer is completely finished, and you can even change the text color of the form widget in the email address field by selecting the widget and going to the Style tab. I set the text color to a darker color to make it more visible and to make it look a little better. And by the way, with this widget you can easily link to a service such as MailChimp or ActiveCampaign, or you can manually link to an email address to which all the info that is filled in the fields will be sent over to. In a separate tutorial I will show you how you can create an email address for your website or multiple email addresses in just a couple of seconds. And if you want to connect that email address to a service such as MailChimp or ActiveCampaign, you can easily set it up from inside the widget over here at the settings. I think it also would look nice if we add a white border around the widget. So let's try that. Go to the Advanced tab and then to the border options, and at border type you can choose solid. Then adjust the color to something you like, for example white. And I also want to make the font in the button with the text subscribe a bit thicker. And to do this I go to the Style tab and I set the weight to 600. The border isn't displayed properly at this point, but I will adjust this in a moment. I also want to adjust the hover color of the button to something else, for example this color green, and it's a small detail, but it would be nicer if the divider is a bit thicker, a bit like the border of the button. And to do that I select the divider and go to the Style tab and I adjust the weight to 2. I also want to make the social icons a bit smaller, and to do this I select the widget and go to the Style tab and I adjust the size to something like 12. The social icons are already in the header, so you can also delete them or use another widget instead, but that's up to you. I think it looks nice like this, and I just removed the LinkedIn logo because I don't like inconsistencies, and we don't have the LinkedIn logo in the header, so I want to remove this. So I go to the Content tab and click on the cross behind the logo that I want to remove. At the bottom I also set the number of columns to 3. Sometimes when using the social icons widget and you delete an icon, it's not immediately visible on your screen. I don't know if it's a bug or something, but if you notice this, you can click on the green update button. Then you have to set the conditions first to entire site because we're creating a new template for the footer. After that, click on the green save and close button. After the page is loaded, you have to refresh the page and then you will see that the changes are visible. The social icons is the only widget that I have experienced a small issue with every once in a while, but this is how you can fix it. The next step is to change the hover colors of the social icons in the newsletter sign up button. I start off with the social icons by selecting them and going to the Style tab. Go all the way down to the options for icon, hover, and adjust the secondary color to black. That already looks a lot better, and now I go to the icon settings above and set the icon spacing to 15. Now select the form widget above it and go to the Style tab and then choose the options for buttons. Here you go to the hover tab and I adjust this color to green. Now select the left column and go to the Advanced tab. Now go to the padding options and click on the icon to edit the values individually. Now enter 10 pixels in the field left. After that select the column on the right and go over to the Style tab. Set the padding values to 0 again by clicking on the icon and then fill in 40 pixels in the field right and 20 pixels in the field left. The next thing I do is select the logo and go over to the Advanced tab and add 20 pixels padding on the left side so that it aligns well with the logo in the header. And I also add 20 pixels in the bottom field so that the text below aligns well with the text find us here on the other side. Now I select the All Rights Reserved text widget and set the padding values to 0 by clicking on the icon. In the field left I add 25 pixels. And now we can move on to the section below that we can actually remove because we already have a sticky navigation menu in the header. And click on the cross, or you can click on your delete button. And now we're pretty much done. The only thing left is to check out how everything is being displayed on tablet and also on mobile devices. So click on the responsive mode icon. And like I mentioned earlier, the best way is to go from the big screens to the smaller screens. So now that the desktop is finished, we should go to the tablet view and after that go to the mobile view. So select the tablet view and I want to adjust the margin of the entire section first. So I go to the Advanced tab and set the padding to 20 pixels for the right field and also 20 pixels for the left field. Now I click on the logo and go to the Advanced tab. Because I have added padding on the desktop view, it also has been applied to the other screens. To reset this, click on the icon to unlink the values, and now the padding is 0 again for the tablet view. Now I go to the Content tab and set the alignment to center. I also want to add a little space between the logo and the top of the section. So I go to the Advanced tab of the logo widget and enter 40 at the top padding. Oh, and by the way, we also need to adjust the top margin of the first section as we also did for the desktop view. So I go to the navigator and select the first section and then go to the Advanced tab and set 0 for the top margin. Now I select the text below with all rights reserved because we have added padding on the desktop there, so I want to reset it by clicking on the link values together icon at the padding options in the Advanced tab, and this will return all values to 0. Then I go to the Content tab and set the alignment to the center. Now I select the column with the newsletter form in it. Then I go to the Advanced tab and enter 10 at margin in the field left and also in the field right. After that I set the padding for all the fields to 10 pixels. I also add some top margin to the form widget, so I select the widget and go to the Advanced tab and enter 10 at top margin. Now I want to add a little bit more space to the bottom of the bottom section, so I select the inner section and go to the Advanced tab and enter 40 only at the bottom padding. And now we go over to the mobile view, and here I want to adjust the alignment to the right for the text finders here, so I go over to the first tab and then set the alignment to right. Then I do the same for the social icons, and I also adjust the size on mobile to 8. And now we're completely done with designing the header and the footer of our website. Now click on Update to save all the settings for the footer. And because we already set the conditions to the entire site earlier in this tutorial, we don't have to do that anymore. And now I see I forgot to adjust the setting over at this column. There's too much space on the left side and the logo. Go to the Advanced tab to the padding options. And here I need to change the small percentage icon to px, that's pixels. So now the footer is completely done. It's also useful to know that you can quickly switch from the Elementor editor to different templates for different parts of your website by clicking the orange tab that you see if you go over the header. For example, if you're editing the footer and you also want to change something in the header, then you first have to click on the orange Edit Header tab. I also see another small detail that I need to adjust in the navigation menu. And that's the link for women's watches don't have a capital letter at the beginning. To adjust this, go back to the WordPress dashboard by clicking on the icon in the top left corner and then select Exit to Dashboard. Now go to Appearance in the left menu and then click on Menus. Go to women's watches and I change the first letter to a capital letter. Then I click on the Save Menu button to save the changes. Now go to the Templates option in the menu and click on All. Click on the Header tab and go to the template header and select Edit with Elementor. You can see that the capital letter has been added to women's watches, and now we see the result, and it's almost done in my opinion. The only last small adjustment I want to make is to the footer and the space between the social icons. So to go from the header to the footer, I click on the orange Edit Footer tab, then I select the social icons and go to the Style tab and set the spacing to 10. Now click on Update to save the changes. And that was it guys for this tutorial. In the next video I'm going to show you exactly how to create pages and posts with Elementor. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you do so right away and leave a thumbs up if you like the content and found it helpful in any way. If you have any questions or suggestions for topics for tutorials, please let me know in the comments. I hope you have a nice day and I'll see you again in the next video.